by your Southeast Toyota dealer. Toyota, moving forward. And by Aflac, we've got you under our wing. Rays take on the Orioles tonight. Joe Maddon's club reaching the 80 mark in victories. 4 over 500 at 80 and 76. Before the first pitch, let's check out Todd Callis on the field. Todd?
Dwayne, thanks a lot. Now, Joe Maddon's talked about Evan Longoria and how Longo wanted to play almost every game the rest of the way, if not all of them, as he hasn't had an off day since the end of June. So here's what Joe's looking for out of Evan and the rest of the team in the final week of this season.
You're stretching a mind right now. I mean, we're talking about next year when we're playing at this time of the year when it's going to really matter, going into the playoffs in 2010. To be stretched and playing well at this time matters. That's a thought that he'll have in the back of his mind, that he knows that he had done it the year before and he can do that. So even though the game doesn't matter, a lot of what's going on in regards to the win-loss overall playoff situation, what does matter is that you're being stretched out mentally. And furthermore, when you're playing under these circumstances and you can play with that kind of intensity and effort, that really speaks well, bodes well for the future.
Playing through that final week of the season, Evan Longoria and the Rays. We are ready for baseball. Time to go back upstairs to Dwayne and Kevin.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. As we take a look right there at Evan Longoria, he wants to finish strong and be in there every day. The Baltimore starting lineup will have Brian Roberts atop the order, second baseman, followed by Ty Wigginton. He'll be the designated hitter. Nick Markakis in right, Luke Scott's in left. It's Matt Wieters behind the plate, the switch-hitting catcher. Melvin Mora is at third. Michael Aubrey at first base. Jeff Fiorentino again in center field, hitting eighth tonight. Cesar Historis, the shortstop, also a switch hitter, will bat ninth.
The big right-hander Wade Davis on the mound, and in his 24 1/3 innings, he's only got a 407 earned run average, and that includes that 8 runs he gave up against the Boston Red Sox in the third inning and a couple of starts ago. But what I like is the 3.5 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio that he's shown so far in the big leagues. Good composure on the mound, good mound presence, excellent breaking stuff, and I just like his demeanor on the mound, Dwayne. Behind him, defensively, in the outfield, left to right, Carl Crawford, B.J. Upton, and Gabe Gross. In the infield, left to right, Evan Longoria, Reem Bridyak, Ben Zobrist, and Willie Ibar. And behind the plate, Greg Zahn doing the game calling for Wade Davis.
And there's Ben Zobrist back at second base. He was at first base and in right field to end the game last night. So he's at second base, and we're all set to play ball. Wade Davis on the hill for the Rays with Brian Roberts stepping in. Roberts hitting from the left side, and he goes after the first pitch fastball, fouling it straight back, strike one. Wade Davis coming off a start his last time out against Seattle. He pitched 2 outs into the 6th inning. Had a no decision in that game, but actually pitched well enough to win. He gave up 4 runs, but some lack of support behind him factored into that. Only 2 of those runs were earned. Roberts a little late there, and it's 1-2. He had a no decision, and eventually one was a 5-4 Rays win, but he certainly pitched well enough to pick up a victory there.
In that last pitch, that had some late movement tailing away from Brian Roberts.
That pitch has missed a slider, and I'll tell you, that not only got Roberts, but maybe Bill Cussing.
I think Brian thought he was done. But, you look at that angle. The ball was outside. I think Brian thought it was going to be rung up, though.
And a wave and a miss on the fastball. Well, that's a great way to start it for the young right-hander.
Look at this movement. This is 93 with the fastball, but look at the tailing action right there. Late tailing action. That's a big league pitch right there. The overhead shot shows it was just off the outside corner, but too close to take. That's the movement that created the swing by Brian Roberts.
That's 29 strikeouts in just over 24 innings for Davis now.
And only 8 walks.
Pitch is a strike at the knees to Ty Wigginton. Ty, the former Ray, the DH tonight in the Orioles lineup. This one right back through the middle. A breaking pitch there, a curveball, and Wigginton shot it right back into center field. So the Orioles have a base runner.
Yeah, a little bit up and out over the plate, and definitely up and out over the plate, not a little bit. Davis able to get away from it without getting hit.
And here's Nick Markakis. Markakis was on 4 times last night. September has been a struggle for him, but he had a double and 3 walks in the game last night. 1 ball, no strikes. Davis pitched well enough in his major league debut against Detroit for a win. He had a no decision in that, but allowing a run, 3 hits in 7 innings. And then lost to Boston, pitched the gem against the Orioles, the 4-hit shutout, and then his last outing against Seattle. So he comes into this start with a 1-1 record, and with some support could be 3-1. A 2 ball, no strike count. And he just missed there. 3 balls, no strikes. One of the things you have to like about Davis, we talked about those 2 games that he pitched well enough to win but didn't. You know, that's not something that he seems to factor in at all. He just goes out there and he has this look about him and this concentration level. Tries to pitch as well as he can to each hitter. There's a strike. 3-1, and the final analysis, I guess that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, it is. I go back to that game in Boston where the first 2 innings he looked great, and then in the 3rd inning of that game he got knocked out. You wouldn't know if he was winning or losing. The look on his face was the same. You just saw a look of confidence that I'm going to go out the next time and pound the strike zone. That's when he shut down the Orioles. A complete game.
And he walks Markakis. Missed a little wide. So 2 men are on base now, and a base hit and a walk. Luke Scott will step in. Well, I'll tell you, a young staff, maybe any staff, as we saw Jim Hickey there, but a staff of young pitchers can really keep you busy.
You bet. Yep. A lot of work. There's a lot to learn at the big league level. I was talking to Jim Palmer before the game today, the Orioles broadcaster, and he said he learned from having a veteran pitching staff around him when he came up to the big leagues. First they were in the World Series in 1966, and he beat Sandy Koufax in that Orioles sweep.
Luke Scott then the check swing and a foul ball, strike 1.
You know, and the Rays really don't have that. Their oldest guy is James Shields.
He's 27 years old.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys are coming up at age 27. They kind of feed off each other, and you know, Jim Hickey, you're right. He's got a lot of work that he has to do, and a lot of input and feedback as well. James has had 215 innings each of the last 2 years.
Pitch is high. 1-1 the count to Luke Scott.
James can hold seminars now, can't he?
Yes, he can. That's right. Wave and a miss. Fastball, and it's 1-2.
Boy.
Yeah, I guess Shields would be the senior executive of that starting rotation.
I think so, absolutely. Look at this pitch. That's 90 on the inside corner, a little bit above the swing, and the gun said 90, but to Scott, I'm sure it looked like it was 98. That had some jump to it right there. Well, you pitch in the American League East, too, like James Shields has done the last few years, and these young guys getting their chances here in the big leagues. You learn fast, especially in the American League East. A couple of better lineups in baseball.
Swing and a miss. Davis comes back to get Scott. Second strikeout, out number 2 here in the first.
Well, that's a good call by Greg Zahn. He went right back into the same spot, knowing that Davis could make the same pitch, and he did. He made it a little bit better, a little bit higher. And Scott has that little drop to it, little uppercut swing, and swings right underneath it. Doubled up inside.
Now Davis will face Matt Wieters.
Pretty good numbers right there. Rookie catcher, 292.
You know, he has close to 330 at bats here. Pitch inside, 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, we talk about evaluation too, and I think that the Orioles handled him correctly. Big numbers right there in 7 games against the Rays. Because they sent him down. I mean, the hype was, hey, he should be the starting catcher, but they sent him down to AAA to start the season, get his feet wet there.
It's low. 2-0. Wieters went 0 for 3 against Davis, and the 4-hit shutout he threw against the Orioles at Baltimore. Had a strikeout, hit a line drive to first, and grounded to second in that game. And a sharply hit ball out of the reach of Zobrist. Gross with the pickup. Wigginton's going to try to score. Throw is in time. He got him. Zahn put the tag on him and held on to the throw as Gross cuts down Ty Wigginton. Wigginton went sprawling across the plate, but by the time he got there, Zahn had tagged him to retire the side. Run at the plate. You got to give Zahn some kudos there. He stood his ground, took a pretty good shot from Wigginton, and that retired the side. Now the Rays come in to hit, and B.J. Upton is up in the leadoff position, followed by Carl Crawford and Evan Longoria. Zobrist, Ibar, and Burrell 4, 5, and 6. Zahn, Gross, and then Reed Brignac.
And Jeremy Guthrie on the mound, coming in as the Orioles' #1 starter, has had a tough year overall. 10-16 with a 5.10 earned run average.
Here's B.J. taking the first pitch, and it's inside. Well, Upton in last night's game was up in the #5 spot. He looks at a strike. Now the count is 1-1, and so B.J. returns to the leadoff spot. He takes a strike. Now 1-2. He was removed from the leadoff spot on the 4th of August. Hitting .236 right now. And is under it, pops it up. Wieters after it, down from first, Aubrey, and Aubrey, the first baseman, makes the catch just as Wieters got a little tangled up in Upton's bat.
You saw Aubrey. Let's take a look at the defense left to right. Luke Scott, Jeff Sorrentino, and Nick Markakis in the outfield. Melvin Moore at third. Cesar Sturz at short. Brian Roberts at second. And Michael Aubrey, you just saw at first base. Matt Reeders behind the plate for Jeremy Guthrie.
Carl Crawford pitches away. 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, Weeders almost stepped on the bat right there.
Yep.
Would have been an ankle turn.
And a strike called on Crawford.
Jason Bartlett sitting there and talking to David Price. You know, the other thing about young pitchers, I mean, it's good to talk to veteran hitters too on the bench. Not saying that's what they're talking about, but I'd be picking the brains of some good hitters. I know Carlos Pena does that. Like a lot of times when he goes to the mound, says, "Hey, throw this pitch in this situation. This is tough to hit in this situation." You know, things like that. I'm sure Pat Burrell's. I know Pat Burrell's been doing that all year.
There's ball 3. Count to Carl is a full count now. And he draws the walk, so Crawford is aboard. Carl's still looking for his 60th stolen base. Has tied his personal single-season career high at 59. Proud to bring you this game, available in high definition again tonight on Sun Sports. Evan Longoria. Pitch is down. 1-0. Crawford with his lead. He's off. The pitch is a strike and the throw is not. A stolen base for Carl Crawford. His 60th of the year. And that's a single season career high for Carl Crawford. 60 stolen bases.
There's a nice jump by Carl Crawford right there. Big jump, straight steal, digging straight into the bag. Weeders, number 1, stood straight up when he threw it. Number 2, it was wide of the bag, the shortstop side on the throw.
But high with this pitch, a slider. 2-1.
Got to stay low as a catcher and get through the ball. You can't catch it stand straight up. You lose the lower half of your body to get some power on the throw.
We'll square the count. 2-2. See Carl with 60 steals now. He had 59 in 04. Pitch stays up and in. The count goes to 3-2. Foul ball. We'll do that again.
That's why you got the shin guard right there for sinkers down at your feet that you might hit off your ankle. Protection right there.
Three-two again. Evan hits it on the ground towards short. Storis will make his throw to first out there. Crawford advances to third. He's there with 2 outs for Ben Zobrist.
Second baseman, number 18, Ben Zobrist.
Ben with 25 home runs now. 84 runs batted in. And his on-base percentage is .400. He is 5th in the American League in on-base percentage. Takes a pitch that catches the inside part of the plate. Came back a little bit with a fastball, and that's strike 1.
These are pretty amazing numbers for a guy that was a utility man to start the season and occasional pinch hitter. But he's got 25 home runs and 85 84 ribbies.
Foul ball runs the count to 2 strikes. Well, Ben scored the go-ahead run last night, the 8th inning, with the Rays eventually won 7-6. Pitch inside, 1-2, and the day before, when the Rays won by that same 7-6 score, he was in the middle of that comeback. He drove in a couple of runs in the 8th and 2 runs in the 9th of that game. Takes a very close pitch for ball 2, 2-2. Crawford third, 2-2 pitch, and a bouncer foul. See it again. This is the second time the Rays have seen Guthrie this year. The first time came way back in April in his second start of the season on April the 11th, and he won that game. Pitched 6 shutout innings against the Rays. Not this time. There's a base hit up the right field line. Crawford scores. Zobrist on his way to second, and the Rays lead 1-0. Ben Zobrist again, this time picking up his 25th double, giving the Rays a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, 25 doubles, 25 homers, and 85 now RBIs. Fastball down and in. Good short swing right there, right down the right field line. About 3 or 4 feet fair. Kept it fair, stayed inside it. Well, Crawford scores the first run.
There's Willie Ibar. Goes after the first pitch, fouls it away. Willie collecting his first career pinch hit home run last night. 12 home runs for the year. One ball, 1 strike. Soft liner into center, base hit. Ferrantino charges. The throw will be cut off, and the Rays pick up another run. Zobrist scores on the single to center by Ibar. It's 2-0 Tampa Bay.
Nice piece of hitting for Willie Ibar. He goes right with it. This ball's off the outside corner. You can see it's about 2 or 3 inches off the outside corner. Maybe more. I mean, that white line, it's actually about 6 inches off the outside corner, but up, and Williams goes out and drops it into center field for the RBI.
So a walk, 2 hits, and 2 runs in. Here's Pat Burrell. He takes a strike. Pat hitting .226 with 14 home runs. Rays with a club record 193 home runs now. It's foul. He's behind in the count, 0-2. Boy, it seems as if it's been that way all year.
Yep.
2 guys in the Rays lineup. Burrell seems to be behind in the count all the time, and that makes it very difficult to hit. And he's a guy who will work the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And with Navarro, it seems there have been a number of cases where Nabi has been up in the count, but has helped the pitcher out.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Expanding your own zone has been an issue with the honor. I think next year, just getting back into the zone, getting off to a good start will help him. I think early he got off to a tough start offensively, and I think he pressed himself and really started expanding the zone to the point where he got himself out.
2-2, and a fly ball lifted toward left center. Scott's there to make the catch, and that retires the side. But the Crawford walk and the 60th stolen base of the season for Carl keys the inning, and the Rays score 2. Well, the Rays have a 2-run lead. We go to the second inning. Melvin Mora is going to lead it off. Wade Davis on the hill, and his first pitch is a fastball wide. 1 ball, no strikes. Mora is hitting .257, veteran infielder. 2-0. There's a question about whether Melvin Mora will be in an Orioles uniform next year. He's played more games at third base for the Orioles than anybody except Brooks Robinson.
That's amazing, isn't it? Not had his best year. He hit that home run, that grand slam in that game against Jeff Neiman. 4 or 5 games into the season, and really he's only hit 7 since. Only 8 home runs from the corner spot. Melvin Mora.
Yeah, but what he did with that foul ball, Kevin, is he hit the cotton candy salesman up there in the upper deck.
Is he all right?
Yeah, he's fine. He's walking away with his full tray of cotton candy and a souvenir.
Well, he had him played right.
Yep, he sure did. Problem is, he couldn't get the ball out of the cotton candy to make a play on it. 2-2. The foul ball again into the upper deck.
Get a good grip on the ball, though, afterwards.
Yeah, that's for sure. Count still 2-2 to Mora. Michael Aubrey next, and then Jeff Barrentino. A little bit wide. Full count. (3-2), and it's low for ball 4. Now the leadoff man aboard here in the second inning. Second walk given up by Davis. And a trip to the mound by Zahn with Davis. You know, that's an interesting pairing right there, because Zahn is a bit of a character, as we know, and Wade Davis is just straightforward and
all business.
Yep. So it'd be kind of interesting to get a written transcript of that exchange.
Zahn is a throwback, isn't he?
He sure is.
He could have caught in any era.
Yep.
He's got that look about him.
Here's Michael Aubrey. Pitch is too low. 1 ball to no strikes. Well, I'll tell you, Zahn was impressive on that play at the plate.
He stayed right in there. That's the thing I like. A lot of guys would have done Olay right there. Got out of the way, afraid of contact. Zahn stayed right there and was able to get the left wrist of Wigington.
There's a strike, and it's 1-1. You know, that's a very good statement. Here's a club. The Rays are 80-76. Disappointed they're not going to the postseason. So he said, well, okay, what are you playing for? Well, he's playing because that's the way he plays the game.
That's why he's been around as long as he has. That's why he gets a job every year at this point in his career.
You know, he said before he wants to be the Julio Franco of catchers. Well, he might just make it.
Well, Julio wanted to play till he was 50, and he did.
Yeah.
He played till he was 50. Zahn didn't say 50, did he?
He just said Julio Franco, and really, who knows how old Franco really was.
Yeah, he might have been 60.
Oh, a shot back through the middle, base hit. As Aubrey hit that ball sharply into center field. Mora stops at second. But the point of that play, I think, with Zahn, the team's no longer in the race, and you think, well, okay. But he stood his ground and ran into contact and held on to the ball, and I think that's important. That's an important statement for everybody in the dugout.
Well, you don't mail it in. I mean, you finish the season. You got 6 games to go. You play 6 games. And you're playing for the team. You're playing for the fans that are watching and do show up. You're playing for your pitcher, making a play like that. Wade Davis appreciative. And playing for yourself. For pride.
Tino now, yep. Bunts and fouls, and I really think the point you just made about doing it for your pitcher, that's the kind of relationship that you strive for if you're a manager or a pitching coach or anybody with with the ball club.
That's right.
You want a catcher who will do that for the guy he's catching.
Believe me, and they know that too. Those pitchers know that.
Foul back, 0-2.
Well, you know, I go back to that play Gabe Kapler made in the blowout win the other day in Texas. Came in and made a diving catch. Brian Schaus got out of the inning, runner at second base. It would have been an RBI base hit. I mean, Gabe came in the game. It was a blowout game. It was an 11-3 game, whatever it turned out to be. You know, that says a lot. I mean, 6th or 7th inning, I think it was, and I just said, hey, you know, that's the kind of guy you want on your team. You know, guy that's a gamer. Guy almost breaks his shoulder for you. Doesn't lay up on a base hit, and your pitcher appreciates that. Team appreciates that.
1 ball, 2 strikes to the Baltimore center fielder, Gabe Kapler.
You know, Gabe, when he does get his innings, he plays hard. You got to say that about him. You know, he had another home run last night. He has hit lefties this year.
Ground ball headed to second. Zobrist to Brignac. 1. First base 2. 4-6-3 on the double play. Mora goes to third as the Rays turn the double play.
That's a nice turn right there. Good feed. Nice turn by Brignac. Nice feed by Ben Zobrist. Chest high. Good turn getting away from the bag by Reed Brignac. And a nice pitch by Wade Davis. There's your checkers double the game. The double play.
That eases the situation. 2 outs with a man in third. There's Cesar Izturis. That one upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Izturis had a hit in last night's game, a single his first time up, 1 for 4. Bounds it back, 1-1. Been a little better right-handed hitter throughout his career than a left-handed hitter. But as he made the point last night with that base hit his first time up against Neiman, he's not exactly an automatic out up there. A guy with a bat in his hand is dangerous, particularly with somebody on base. Foul ball on the fastball. That's 1-2.
Yeah, he really improved with the Dodgers. He's always been a great shortstop, very solid defensive shortstop. But he had a couple of years with the Dodgers, one in particular where he made the All-Star team, and he was hitting close to 300 for a lot of that year.
Fouls it back, another fastball. The Orioles got him precisely because he is a good shortstop. They've tried to improve their defense coming into this season. Dave Trimley, their skipper. And the pitch catches the inside corner. Came back, the fastball for strike 3. They leave a man at third. We go to the bottom of the second, and the Rays lead 2-0. Scratch-off cards benefiting the Rays Baseball Foundation and Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association Education Foundation, available through a donation. Prizes include Rays game-worn jerseys, great discounts around town, and even a Kia Forte. Visit RaysBaseball.com to get your tickets. Greg Zahn looks at a pitch low and in. 1 ball and no strikes. Zahn hitting .259 for the year. And he checks on a pitch down. 2-0. Zahn .287 since coming to the Rays on the 8th of August. 2 balls and a strike. Under it, lifts a fly ball not too deep to center. Bertino coming in, puts on the brakes and makes the catch. That is out number 1.
Almost overran it. He lost it up there for a minute on the roof.
Now it's Gabe Gross. Gabe picking up the assist when he threw out Wigginton trying to score back in the first inning. He pops it up. Short center. Isturis, the shortstop, is there. So a couple of quick outs here. Just 5 pitches. 2 outs for Jeremy Guthrie.
After a long first inning for Guthrie, he had 31 pitches in that first inning.
Reed Brenyak. And he lines one into right field. There's a base hit. He hustles, makes a big turn at first, and hangs on there with a base hit.
That was a wise move. I thought Reed was going to go for it, but Markakis is as good as there is in the outfield, throwing runners out on the bases. In fact, the Orioles as a whole are right at the top in baseball in assists. Gets through that fastball away, and Markakis closes quickly. And he's kind of baiting him. Look at Markakis, kind of waiting right there. Okay.
Well, how about Brenyak? He had that career night over in Baltimore when he went 4 for 4 and got his first big league home run against the Orioles. That was on the 14th, and on the first pitch he sees from Baltimore pitching tonight, he lines that base hit into right. BJ looks at a strike. Brenyak also made a couple of very good plays defensively in that Baltimore series. So, boy, the Orioles have to be very impressed with Reed Brenyak for the way he's played for the Rays against them. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He made a nice turn on that double play ball too. Good defensive shortstop.
BJ fouls it back. 1-2. There's a shot deep into left center field. Bertino on the run. He dives and cannot get there. The ball bounces up into the stands. That's going to be a double, and Brenyak will have to go back to third as Upton drives that one into left center for his 32nd double of the year.
It's a nice piece of hitting right there. That's a slider up. Good use of the hands right there by BJ. Great effort by Florentino. Look at that diving all out. He just did miss that. He almost made a fantastic play. And I tell you, a young guy wants to impress in the big leagues, but again, your pitcher has to appreciate that kind of effort, even though he didn't get to it.
Carl Crawford pitches up and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, Upton back in that leadoff spot, and one of the reasons he had a lifetime average of 389 off Guthrie, 7 out of 18, and he just got him for 2 bases right there. 1-1 to count to Carl Crawford.
He got a hanging slider. That's what we've seen a lot from Guthrie this year. Just been command of his stuff. A lot of mistakes over the heart of the plate this year.
And Carl pops it up. Left side, foul ball. And that's Mora making the catch for the coaching box, retiring the side. Rays lead 2 through 2. They lead 2-0. On to the third. Rays with a couple runs in the first hold a 2-0 lead. Brian Roberts, the top of the order, leads off for Baltimore. Wigginton and Markakis will follow. Pitch lifted toward left center field. That's going to be in for a base hit. Crawford cuts it off. Roberts in at second with another double. That's his 56th double of the year.
You can't hit the gaps like that in batting practice every day. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's a lot of doubles. That's, to me, almost impressive as hitting 60 home runs to find a gap 56 times to do that. That's a good backdoor breaking ball right there, curveball. He splits the seam in left center. Carl gets to it, but Brian is too quick.
Well, you know, he's got a shot now. Charlie Gehringer, the second baseman for the Detroit Tigers, had 60.
Yeah.
And that's the all-time high for a second baseman. And Roberts has a shot. There's Ty Wigginton. That's too low. One ball, no strikes. And he also surpasses Lance Berkman's record for a switch hitter with doubles. Berkman at 55. The Astros first baseman and sometimes outfielder. And now Roberts has 56. Well, Roberts started to break for third base. And Davis steps back.
Yeah, he thought he had Wade with the one look at second, then going home. But Wade hesitated. He was definitely going to go, but Wade made him wait too long.
And the pitch is a ball. 2-0.
Got to make him stop. Got to bury your looks back to second base. Wade knows that. Can't let this guy Roberts keep his feet moving.
And that pitch just missed.
That was good what Wade did right there. See, he looked at second, then he looked toward third before he went to the plate. He didn't turn his head all the way toward home plate, because with that he could see out of the peripheral vision of his right eye. He could see if Roberts was dancing. Let's see if he does that again. He takes a peek. Let's see where he turns the head. This time he turned it all the way home. The last time before he looked toward third before he went home. That was good. Good variance.
And the count to Wigginton is 3-1. Wigginton singled up the middle on a breaking pitch, a curveball in the first inning. And there is ball 4 inside. So 3 walks, 1 in each of the first 3 innings from Davis. He had walked 8 in a little over 24 innings coming into the game. 3 so far tonight. Nick Markakis will be the hitter, and so for the second straight inning, the Orioles have put the first 2 men on base with men at first and second and nobody out. Markakis bats here in the third. And a step back, and now they're going to get Roberts off the bat. Oh, he got in there. He did not get the tag on him. Brignac took the throw, and boy, they had Roberts hung out. He took off too soon, and the Rays had him picked off, but couldn't get the tag on him.
Yeah, instead of spinning the other way, Davis just steps off. It was a good call. Reed did the right thing. He couldn't reach Roberts, but he tried to let the umpire know he did. But Mike Estabrook at second base didn't buy it.
Well, the pitch to Markakis. He swings through a fastball.
With Reed's momentum going towards second base, he couldn't catch the ball and then get down and get his weight shift back to get Roberts. So he had to kind of do a sweep tag and didn't get him.
One, and it's popped up left side. Foul ball, and that's Longoria making the catch. Also out there, Brignac, and with that, Wade Davis went over to cover third.
Yeah, just right away. I watched him just break right to third base. Just smart. He's a smart pitcher. Even the variance with Brian Roberts, he's varying his looks. He's not looking just once. Sometimes he's looking twice. Sometimes he's looking toward third to see if Roberts is dancing off. That's why they did the inside move there. And Brignac, of course, and Wade Davis played together a lot in the minor leagues. So that little conversation Brignac had was I'm sure, about Brian Roberts. And that he'll be there for him.
There's Luke Scott. Bounce one the other way. Out of play. That's a strike. Scott, a strikeout victim in the first when Davis got him to chase a high fastball. Double by Roberts. He's at second. The walk to Wigginton. He's at first. 1 out. The 0-1 pitch. And a soft line drive into right center. That's going to fall for a base hit. Upton with the pickup. The throws back to Brignac with the run scoring. That's going to make it 2-1. So Scott serves a base hit into center field and picks up his 77th run batted in. Roberts crossing the plate, and Wigginton stopped at second.
Look at the pitch right here. It's up. Tried to go back inside where they struck him out before, but this one he just left a little bit out over the plate. Got in on Luke Scott a little bit, but enough strength for Luke to get it into right center for the single.
Matt Wieters singled into first his first time. Hit the ball sharply. Batting .294 for the year. And he takes the first pitch strike. Fastball from the Rays right-hander.
Pretty good fastball hitter, this kid, especially in hitters counts. That was just good execution by Wade Davis, inside corner.
Tap foul. 0-2. This is the 5th career start for Wade Davis. Like a 2-1 lead right now, but the Orioles have a couple men on base. Way high, a fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, he's had to work these first 3 innings. He's had men on base in every inning, more than one in every inning.
Yeah, he's worked almost exclusively from the stretch.
Right.
He got Roberts to start the game out of the windup, struck him out, and then gave up the base hit to Wigginton. The leadoff hitters have been on in the 2nd and 3rd, putting him right back into the stretch. And a breaking ball and a late start. Wigginton is going to be out at 3rd. Wigginton running into an out at 3rd with Zahn going down to Longoria on a caught stealing.
That's just breaking by Wigginton, seeing the ball in the dirt, assuming it's too tough for the catcher to block it, pick it, and throw you out. That's what that was. He takes Zahn by surprise. Good secondary lead, sees it in the dirt, takes off, which is what a lot of organizations teach, including the Orioles. Even back in my day, that's what they used to teach. Take off on every ball in the dirt. Zahn, of course, grew up in the Oriole organization. He knows that. And that block by Zahn was fantastic as usual. We talked about him a lot, Dwayne.
2-2 to Wieters inside, and so the count goes to 3-2. So Wigginton out at second base. Technically not a caught stealing.
Yep. He was going on the ball in the dirt, as if it was a wild pitch.
He's out trying to advance.
Right. He breaks on the pitch. It's a caught stealing.
And the 3-2 is lifted toward the line and left. That's going to be a foul ball. Of course, with 2 outs and a full count, Scott was breaking on that pitch, and had the ball been fair, not sure whether Crawford could have cut it off or not, but that might have been troubled in regard to Scott. So he'll go back to first on what turns out to be a foul ball.
I think it would have been trouble. Jerry Crawford was locked in on it. Nice job by Jerry reading that ball. Third base umpire.
And there he is.
Yeah, making the call.
Another 3-2 pitch on its way to Wieters, and a line drive just out of the reach of Brignac. Crawford up with it. Runner's going to go to third. The throw's not in time with Scott arriving safely there. Wieters is 2 for 2, and he got that one just over the head of Brignac.
Yeah, and Brignac's got some length to him. He's a tall guy. He's got the long limbs, and he timed it perfectly, but the ball's just over his head. Carl now, not a big deal now as the ball gets just over. I mean, just a couple inches over Brignac's head. Carl's just got to come up and get the ball to second. He's got no chance because you got to realize Luke Scott's running on the pitch. And had that ball been thrown wide, and you got the runner, Wieters would have gone to second base. So Carl's just got to, he wanted to make a great play, but you had no chance because the runner was running on the pitch.
Here's Melvin Mora. Wave and a miss. Strike 1. Mora attacking a fastball and missing it. 6 hits given up by Wade Davis now. 2 outs into the third. Also walked 3 men. A lot of base runners early.
Yeah, and Joe Madden said in the pregame show that he's not going to go much more than 100, 110 either way with Wade Davis. These guys are all healthy, but he wants to make sure they stay healthy going into the offseason.
1-1 to count.
It's also good to see him try to work out of innings and keep the game right here at 2-1.
And a fly ball into center. Upton coming in, makes the catch to retire the side. All of that, and the damage limited to 1 run. Home half of the third coming, 2-1 Rays.
The third inning at Tropicana Field. Always our pleasure to catch up with Hall of Famer Robin Roberts, who watches us as much as possible. I know you always watch Rays baseball on Sun Sports or Fox Sports Florida. Robbie, the beauty of baseball, one year to the next, you never know what's going to happen. Last year, what a magical year. What have you noticed this year for the Rays? It just quite hasn't been the same.
No, they're so good. They're such a good ball club, but it just hadn't worked out, and I'll be honest with you, I think they missed Percival because he was a tough guy that came in the last inning and the other guys filled in. But it's a wonderful thing to watch them play. They're young and they're going to be good for
One of the guys you're probably talking about is at the plate now. What a special talent he is.
Yeah, I mentioned before when I was on the air, he doesn't move forward. He just rotates his hips, and DiMaggio did that against me a couple of times.
Dwayne?
High and deep to left, and right in front of the wall is Scott. So a pretty good rotation of the hips right there.
Mind you at all of, did Joe D take you to the wall a couple times?
No, he beat me. My only World Series game, he hit a home run in the 10th inning, and I got beat 2-1. But when I first noticed Longoria, he doesn't move forward. He just rotates, keeps his hands back, and he's a special talent. He's fun to watch.
You just missed that one. We've been talking about Ben Zobrist a lot tonight.
I can't believe the way he plays. I mean, he is really, you can't imagine how a young guy can make such an impression in 2 years like he's done. He's a fine player. There are a lot of good players out there. Their pitching is screwed up a little bit late in the game, but those things happen,
What about the arm on the mound tonight, only making his 5th Major League start, and Wade Davis? What do you like there?
Well, he's great. It's like Neiman, it's like Price, it's like Garza. I mean, now Shields he got to use his other stuff, but the other 3 guys, they got great fastballs, and they should have great careers. The Devil Rays, I tell you, you can't believe how good they are. And this year has been a disappointment for them because of last year what they did, but they're all right. They're solid.
So you would expect next year to be a little closer to 08 than 09?
Yeah, the problem is the Yankees and the Red Sox. They're trying those teams. That's not fair. But they're good. The Yankees, especially this year, are really good, and the Red Sox are hanging in there. But it's fun to watch them. I never miss a game, Todd. I watch every one of them at home. I come out occasionally. but it's so easy to sit at home and second guess, you know.
Well, Brian Roberts made that play on Zobrist. Robbie, we are honored to have you as one of our fans at home watching us every night. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Todd.
All right, guys, Robin Roberts, he knows about everything there is about this team. Back to you.
Yeah, Todd, you are absolutely right about that. We are honored, and
Definitely.
and he's a guy. If he's got some criticism, you listen to him. I'll tell you, he is golden. Foul ball out of play by Ibar, and he knows this club.
He broke it down pretty well. I couldn't agree more about the bullpen situation, because we have talked about that in the last couple of weeks. I just think they need a bona fide closer next year. I think that should be a big priority.
There's a liner into center field, and that's going to fall for a base hit. Martino keeps it within his reach, and that's a base hit for Ibar. His second. He is 2 for 2. Yeah, I think most people would agree that if you start from the back end of the game with a closer, and then the rest of the bullpen has a chance to fall into its normal role. Yeah,
very similar swing right here by Ibar. Ball away again for the second time. He drops one into left center field. Nice piece of hit. And absolutely, it's just in having, managing this division in American League East years ago, it is tough. It is tough if you don't have a closer. We went through that in Boston. We had to trade for Rick Aguilera. We were going through the same thing the Rays, and we had to mix and match. And it's tough on the pitchers. They've done a great job, the Rays guys, the pitchers. They really have. But it's much easier when they know pretty much what role they're going to be in. And, they dictate that by the way they pitch. At the same time, Joe has had to mix and match. It's tough on the manager, it's tough on the pitching coach, and it's definitely tough on that bullpen.
Matt fouls one out of play, holds the count at 2 strikes. Yeah, it's not the ideal way to do it, and I think you're right. It's difficult to execute, and we've seen guys who are up and don't get into games. Wave and a miss. Burrell is out on strikes. That retires the side. Rays leave a man, and we're through 3 innings with the score 2-1 Tampa Bay. Here we go into the 4th inning with the Rays leading 2-1. Time for our Aflac trivia question. Aflac, we've got you under our wing. Who hit the most home runs in a single season while starting at 7 or more positions? Michael Aubrey takes the pitch, and that's in there for a strike. Aubrey, Virtino, and then Asturias. Ground ball headed to short for Reed Brignac. His throw is on the money. 1 away here in the 4th inning. Got to after giving up a walk to start the second and a double to start the third. That's nice to see Davis throw the ground ball to short to open the fourth inning.
Yeah, I'd like to see him have about a 7 or 8 pitch inning.
Tino grounded into a 4-6-3 double play his first time. It's outside. 1-0. Fastball, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, he goes north and south. Well, that's up in the in right there after down and away. That's impressive. Right under the hands. And that 92, guarantee it looks like 96 to 97 to the hitter.
Liner into left. That's sinking in front of Crawford. Great job of short hopping that ball. Crawford was headed toward the turf and got that glove hand out there to keep the ball in front of him.
Yeah, not an easy play as it's slicing toward his glove side from a left-handed hitter. See Carl come into your screen right there and backhand it. Nice play. Because he had committed to the dive, but once he realized he couldn't get to it, he still tracked it into the glove with a backhand.
Now it's Cesar Esteuras. The first. Tino is back in.
I think he might have been going there first pitch. The way he flinched right there.
He's going. Pitch is popped down the left side, foul ball. That's going to be out of the reach of Longoria.
Yeah, he gave it away. He gave it away. So I mean, that's when you can pitch out. Because you gave it away. That was a hit and run. Wasn't a straight strike, but he gave it away. So if you want to counter that, you can pitch out. They elected not to, but you can see that little hesitation and flinch. And Esteuras is a good hit and run man.
First, runner back in. Baltimore in here 60 and 96 on the year. They've dropped 11 in a row. There hasn't been any word yet on Dave Tremblay, their skipper, as to whether he will be back.
You know what? I was reading an article this morning, and there was a few guys on the line this year.
Absolutely. It's away. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Nationals with Jim Riggleman, who's the interim guy there.
Yeah, and a couple in this division.
He's a solid guy. And Cito Gaston. There's some discussion about him.
Paul Beeson deciding what to do with J.P. Ricciardi, their GM, and Cito Gaston. Cito's pretty cool about it. He says, hey, whatever, I'll still be part of the organization. If they want to move me again, that's fine. He's been through it.
Yeah. It's a great place to be.
Cecil Cooper. Yeah, it is actually. Cecil Cooper has already been relieved in Houston.
Some interesting names that have popped up in that regard. One of them is Jeff Bagwell. And Tim Bogart's name has popped up. I had heard that earlier. A little chop to second. Zobrist. Brignac won. Not in time at first. They couldn't double up Esteuras, who reaches on a fielder's choice. 2 gone now with a man at first base.
Yeah, I always wondered about Bagwell if he'd want to get into the managing part of it, or even Craig Biggio for that matter. I know Biggio, I think, wants to be with his kids for a while longer. You get into managing, boy, you better be ready to spend 24 hours a day away from your family, because it is a tough, grueling, grinding job, just like a GM job.
Yep. There's Dave Tremblay. He's been the skipper since June of 07 when he took over as the Baltimore manager.
It's a great job, though. Let me say that. I mean, there's only 30 of them in Major League Baseball. They're hard to get.
And I don't care what they pay them; they're all underpaid.
They're all underpaid, especially relative to the NFL and other NBA coaches. I mean, there's no contest, and that's a shame because they work longer, harder, more hours, more games, more preparation.
There's a strike to Brian Roberts. Well, if you have dark hair when you start, you're going to have white hair, and if you have white hair, you got a good chance of losing that. I mean, I'll tell you, it's not an easy job.
And somehow Joe's has gone dark again.
Joe's gone the other way.
Well, he's a young
hair, and then it's dark now.
He's young at heart with this club, so it all works for Joe. He's the right man for this ball.
Pitch is high, and it's 1-1. And you know, I guess there's continued discussion about Eric Wedge with the Indians. What are they going to do?
I think that's a foregone conclusion. Reading what Mark Shapiro said, he said, "Hey, it's tough decisions, but basically, sometimes you need a new voice." When he said you can't fire 25 players, that pretty much told me when I read that pretty much done.
2-1.
We'll see.
Yep. No, that's. At least at this point, that's the expectation in Cleveland.
The thing about managers, and it drives me nuts when I hear people say, manager, I mean, anybody can do it. They only make a difference of 10 games. Somebody that says that doesn't really understand the game.
2-1 pitch is lifted towards short right. Gross and Zobrist out, but Gross will be there and make the catch to retire the side. No runs ahead, and the man left. Bottom of the fourth coming, and it's 2-1 Rays. Half-flack trivia question. Who hit the most home runs in a single season while starting at 7 or more positions? Well, Ben Zobrist has hit 25, and he's the correct answer to that question.
I'm telling you, I was thinking about it. I said, I can't. He has to be the guy. Look at that, and by far. Look at that. See that list again. Yeah, that was. Wow.
Jose Oquendo is next. How about that?
Denny Hawking is on that list a couple of times.
Takes all 2-0. You know, 6 positions one thing, 7 is certainly another. And it really skewed dramatically in favor of Zobrist with that extra start.
I don't think that's going to be broken.
I'll tell you, he's just amazing. And when you stop and think about not only all the positions he's made starts in defensively, strike one is on, but Zobrist has hit in every spot in the lineup except ninth.
Well, he doesn't change his approach too much. I mean, he's a good situational hitter. He works the count.
And that pitch is popped up. Stewart there and makes the catch, one away.
So from what I've seen, he lets the situation dictate his approach. If it requires getting a man over, runner at second, nobody out, he'll try to pull the ball. Requires a base hit, 2 out, runner at second, he'll shorten up and try to get a base hit. Sometimes he's up there, bases loaded, he'll let it fly. He'll take a shot at looking for a good fastball to drive. I mean, that's just good situational hitting. So for him, it really doesn't matter where he hits in the lineup.
Gabe Gross pitches a strike, and the thing it's so obvious to me about Zobrist is his thinking about hitting starts way before he gets in the box.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Strike 2, Milligan 2.
Well, you have to know tendencies first of all, and I've seen that. We talked about Jason Bartlett over the weekend. No doubt in my mind, you can't hit 320, 330 without understanding pitchers' tendencies and what's working, what isn't.
And Gross is out on strikes. Second strikeout for Guthrie. Through the sliders that got him.
Yeah, that's where they try to go on Gabe. They go sliders down and in. How did Wheelers catch that? He did. Like a foul tip, wasn't it? Or that's just my eyes. It's a nice job by Wheeler. Let's take a look right here. You get a piece of this? Yeah, sure did. Key to catching foul tips, I've said this earlier in the year a couple of times, is you got to be close enough to the hitter. People say, well, how do you catch foul tips? Is there any rhyme or reason for it? Yeah, there is. You got to be underneath the hitter. You got to be about an arm's length from the hitter's back elbow with your glove side. That's how you gauge where you should be. If you're deeper than that, it's going to be tougher to catch foul tips. Plus, you're going to take pitches away from your pitcher.
2-0 pitch is fouled. The count goes to 2-1. Reed Brignac with a base hit. His first time up. We mentioned the last time up there, that great night he had, a career night to this point against the Orioles in Baltimore when he went 4 for 4. He takes this one in there for a strike. And here's a look at his first big league home run. That was part of that 4 for 4 night. It came off David Hernandez, who will be pitching here tomorrow night for Baltimore. 2-2 and a roller to the right side this time as he hustles down the line. Roberts throws him out. The Rays are up and down 1-2-3. On to the 5th inning. The score 2-1 Tampa Bay. Wade Davis back to the mound for the Rays. The 5th inning rolling around with Ty Wigginton leading off, hitting it on the ground to third. Longoria up with it. A long throw. Ibar got his foot back to the bag in time to retire Wigginton. That was not an easy play down at third base to begin with.
Both ways. That was a nice play by Evan to hang with it, and a good job by Willie Ibar. Let's take a look. Evan has to back up to get the right hop, stays with it. The ball stayed down on him, and that was all arm with the throw. A little bit wide. Willie just off the bag, stays with it, gets it back on there. That goes back to what Tom Foley said in the pregame show with Todd, is that when you play first base, don't stretch before you read the throw. You got to keep your feet kind of moving and dancing, be flexible to go either way, and that's what Willie Ibar did. That was a nice job.
Another ground ball deep third, backhanded by Longoria in the throw. Ibar comes up with it, and that little collision down there between Markakis and Ibar. That's another set of nice plays both ends.
And watch his feet this time, Willie Ibar. Again, Evan can't get a whole lot on it because he has to back up. This ball was hit hard, and he knows he's got to get rid of it. With Markakis getting down the line, backs up, tries to plant the back leg, get as much on it as he can. Watch Ibar. See, he's not stretching. He's just reading the play. That's a nice job because he's trying to keep the ball in front. Watch him shift his feet. That's exactly what Tom Foley was talking about right there. Don't stretch too soon. Read the ball and adjust your feet accordingly. Nice job. Way to play right into our conversation right here, Willie.
Yeah,
thank you.
well, very accommodating.
What a nice teaching segment right there.
Luke Scott takes the pitch down. 1 ball, no strikes.
I was with Tom Foley in Montreal for 1 year. What a great guy, and I'd love to hit fungos to him and hit him as hard as I could. He'd pick every one of them.
Little tap first base side. Davis will get the tag, and that's going to retire the side. So a 1-2-3 inning, the first time we've seen that. We go to the bottom of the 5th. 2-1 Rays. Wade Davis on the hill tonight. He'd received some help from his defense. Wigginton cut down by the throw from Gross to Zahn. Meanwhile, Carl Crawford has picked up his 60th stolen base. He scored on a double by Ben Zobrist. Zobrist scored on the base hit to center by Willie Ibar. All of that in the first inning. Baltimore scored a run in the third. Luke Scott single chased home Roberts. It's 2-1. We go into the bottom half of the 5th, and the Rays will have the top of the order. B.J. Upton, Carl Crawford, and Evan Longoria coming up. First pitch from Guthrie is lifted foul, right side and out of play. 1 strike the count. So Upton right now 1 for 2 on the night. Takes it down. And that would give him 8 for 20 lifetime. against Guthrie. There's a line drive into center, but it's going to be right at Fiorentino.
Yeah, almost 9 for 21. That was a bullet. Centered that well, right at a nice level swing. Some guys just see certain pitchers well. Obviously, BJ sees Guthrie's stuff pretty well.
Now Carl Crawford, he fouls it out of play. That's a strike.
Oh,
this one in on him, and he pops it up to Guthrie. So
ouch.
Crawford, you talk about getting in on the hands.
And the backswing knocked the mask off of Wieters. I was a little concerned about Matt Wieters right there. Watch the backswing after that. He knocked right there. And that's a good thing it hit the mask, because it could have hit the side of his face and missed the helmet. Matt Wieters is fortunate, but see, he's underneath the hitter, as he should be. As I talked about, that's how he caught that foul tip when Gross struck out. But that's the danger also being close to the hitter, is you get a backswing sometimes.
Here's Evan Longoria looking at a strike. Our Toyota trend, the Rays with a club record 193 home runs this year, breaking the 190 back in 06. You see the rest of them in descending order from the top through the first 5. 193 this year. It's foul out of play. Still a 2-strike count.
You know, Robin Roberts was talking. Evan.
Yeah, there you go. It's marry us.
Yeah, not just one. You know, what Robin Roberts was talking about with Dodd a couple of innings ago was he doesn't move forward. What he was in the rotation. See, Evan kind of stands straight up, but he keeps the weight back on that back leg. And when he gets a fastball out of the plate, he turns on it. That's what the rotation is that Robin Roberts was talking about. And it's a nice name to say. Joe DiMaggio and Evan Longoria have that name in the same sentence, isn't it?
Yep.
And Evan's done some special things his first 2 years in the big leagues.
2-2. He's under it. It's a high popper. It's going to be out of play.
See, that's a good swing. You know, people say, "Oh, it's a pop-up." That's a good, aggressive power swing right there. Nothing wrong with that. You just got underneath it. Let's take a look at this side and see. There's a load on the back leg. That's nice. There's a rotation. The hips first and the hands come through. That's a good swing right there. Good balance.
And a swing and a miss. Longoria is out on strikes. The Rays are up and down 1-2-3 through 5. 2-1 Tampa Bay.
Sixth inning at Tropicana Field. Jason Bartlett, a rare night off, having a good time. Matt Wieters will lead off against Wade Davis here to start the sixth, and then we'll tell you about a big series and a doubleheader going on in Detroit. Guys, all the attention in the American League is going on at Comerica Park in Detroit. In game one today of a day-night doubleheader, the Twins win in 10 innings by the score of 3-2. And afterwards, Ron Gardenhire said it was very important we got the first game because we're going against one of the best pitchers in baseball in game two, and Justin Verlander has lived up to that, throwing a 2-hit shutout through 5. Tigers lead game two, 5-0. Detroit right now leads by a game, guys.
There's a low liner caught by Zobrist at second off the bat of Wieters. So one away here in the sixth inning. Yeah, that Central Division got very tight all of a sudden. It was 2 to start the day, and then the Twins won the first game. Orlando Cabrera knocked in the go-ahead run and then scored an eventual winner as the Twins won that first game. Mora takes a strike, and that made it a one-game separation between Detroit and Minnesota going into the nightcap, and the Tigers have the lead, as Todd mentioned.
Well, they had to be within 2 with 4 to play with Detroit. I was talking to former Ray Brendan Harris just the other day before that series. I said, what do you honestly feel playing the Tigers you have to be? He said 2. I said, I'm glad you said that. Most guys would say, hey, just within striking distance or what? 2, and they were. And you know, that doubleheader, because they got rained out last night.
Still 1-2 here.
It's very tough to win a doubleheader, and I think Jimmy Leland really played it well, having Verlander go game 2. Porcello pitched game 1. I watched it, and Nick Blackburn pitched game 1. More of the veteran guy for Ron Gardenhire. So I thought both managers had interesting strategy and the right strategy for their clubs, depending on where they were at. With Verlander being the key guy in game 1, Blackburn being Ron Gardenhire's key guy, because he went with the young guy in game 2. So looks, I mean, he's going to be tough to beat. Verlander's doing what, you know, you kind of expected him to do.
Ground ball to second base. Zobrist up for this one, and the throw to first.
But that game was 2-2, and Brandon Lyon pitched the last 2 innings. They didn't use Rodney, and he wild pitched runner to second and third before Cabrera got that 2-0 high fastball for a base hit.
Michael Aubrey.
And that was a nice pickup by the Twins, getting Cabrera.
Aubrey tonight is singled and grounded to the shortstop. Pitch down and in the 5th inning, in which the Orioles were retired in order. That's the first time in this series that they have not put a man on base.
That's a good pitch. This is a sign of a really good young pitcher that's going to be a very, very good big league pitcher, Wade Davis, because he didn't have as good stuff or command the first 3 innings. And now he's getting in a nice rhythm to try to at least get through the 6th. As his pitch count's about, what, 86, 87 now?
Yeah, he had that 5-pitch 5th that really helped him. Ground ball headed to short. Rendiak has it. His throw to first. It's a 1-2-3-6. Back-to-back 1-2-3 innings. Rays lead 2-1.
and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Welcome back to Tropicana Field. Second game of the series against the Orioles. The Rays with a couple first-inning runs. Baltimore with a run in the third. Ben Zobrist opens the bottom of the sixth. Wave and a miss, strike one. And a little bit out in front there.
Yeah, once in a while Ben will take a shot at looking for a first pitch four-seam fastball to hit one in the seats, and he got a little off-speed pitch right there.
Now it is 1-1.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what we were talking about earlier with Ben. Hey, you know, he picks his spot. Sometimes he knows he'll go for one here and there, and sometimes he gets it.
High foul. That's out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, I thought in that game on Sunday against Texas, he really made a good adjustment because a couple of outside pitches were called strikes to him. And he made an adjustment. He got a pitch again outside, and he went and got a big 2-run single out of it.
And a swing and a miss. Guthrie a little hesitation in the middle of that delivery and picks up the strikeout of Zobrist. Visit the official online shop of the Rays at RaysBaseball.com. Browse the largest online selection of authentic team gear, including official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. A breaking ball to Ibar that misses, a curveball. 1 ball, no strikes. Pitch is foul. 1-1.
Well, Guthrie's gotten stronger here, settling down the last few innings as well. And that last sequence to Ben Zobrist was a good one. He got a four-seam fastball up in the zone by him.
That's fouled back. 1-2. So he struck out Zobrist. Now he's 1-2 to Ibar. And this pitch skied back into center field. Garantino is there, and he makes the catch. 2 gone. Let's take a look at that delivery Guthrie made to Zobrist. 1-2. That little hesitation in the middle.
Yeah, a little deception right here to Ben. There's a pause. Almost a double pause with the left leg right there. This is almost what the Japanese pitchers do. Maybe he learned that from his teammate.
Mr. Pat Burrell is inside. 1-0.
Key obviously is to upset the timing of the hitter, and that's what he did. Exactly what he did.
How about that? He starts him with a changeup and then throws that at him to get him on strikes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no different than a guy all of a sudden dropping down that normally doesn't drop down, you know, on you.
He just did it right there with Pat Burrell and threw a fastball in.
Yeah, try something different. When you're having the year he's had, which is not a good one, 16 losses, you got to try something different.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, there was some talk about maybe it goes back to the WBC. I don't buy into that. That was, you know, back in February. For crying out loud. I mean, get over that. Didn't get enough. His regular. Maybe it affected him early, but.
There's a base hit the other way, headed toward the corner. Markakis will have to play the carom, and Burrell is digging hard for 2 in there with a 2-out double. Pat Burrell's 16th double of the year.
Take a look at this pitch. Wieters is sitting outside. The ball had a little cut action to it outside, and Pat just went with it. Legs well, goes down and gets it, gets through it. No chance for Markakis on that. I know Markakis has a good arm, but not against the right field wall there.
Now here's Zahn taking a pitch up. Zahn is 0 for 2. He was a little frustrated in the 4th when he was up 3-1 in the count. Thought he had a pitch to hit, and he popped it up to the shortstop.
Yeah, he did have a pitch to hit. He's right. He's shown some power from the left side.
Bounces it foul. The count is 1-1. Bottom half of inning 6 tonight from Tropicana Field. He's getting their first look at Guthrie since back in April. They got 2 runs off him in the first and nothing since. Ground ball left side, grabbed by Mora. The throw to first is in time, and that retires the Rays. They leave a man, and we go to the 7th, 2-1 Tampa Bay. Is brought to you by Autoway Toyota. If you need a car, truck, or van, who you going to call? Call Autoway Toyota at 1-800-NEW-TOYOTA. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. In the 7th, Jeff Fiorentino leads it off. Left-handed hitting center fielder. Here's the number 8 hitter. Sturis next, and then Roberts. Two and 0. Fiorentino has 1 of the 7 hits given up by Davis. That's a strike. 2-1. Davis found himself pitching in and around some trouble in the early stages of this game. Orioles had runners in scoring position in each of the first 3 innings. Good cut and a foul ball back. The count is 2-2. They scored their run in the 3rd. An RBI single by Luke Scott.
I think this is one of those games where Joe Madden will not allow Davis to lose this game. He's pitched well, very well, last 4 innings.
2-2, skied back into center. Upton on the run, still going, and he reaches up and makes the catch. An over-the-shoulder catch by B.J. Upton. Upton racing straight toward the wall, gathered it in like a wide receiver. That is a heck of a play by Upton out there.
Well, you can see how shallow he plays. And he just tracks it, sees where the wall is, and he never missed a stride right there. That is a great, great play over the shoulder, and not an easy play.
This, by the way, is the anniversary of that great catch made by Willie Mays.
No kidding.
On the ball hit by Vic Wertz.
Wow. Well,
in the 54 series.
That's a fantastic catch. We've seen him do that, especially early in the year. He made 3 or 4 catches over the shoulder. That is a great defensive play. That saved it, probably a triple.
2 strikes the count to Asturias. So an outstanding catch by Upton here to start the 7th inning in center field. As outstanding as that was, and boy, what a great play by Upton. All of the accounts of that catch by Mays, just because the Polo Grounds, they were so deep in center field.
Yes.
And you see what a great play Upton made there, and you have to know what a great catch that was by Mays. Ground ball, broken bat. Zobrist from second base makes the play. 2 gone. 2 up, 2 down in the 7th.
Second baseman is 1, Brian Roberts.
I think this would be perhaps his last hit, or definitely his last inning, because Joe Madden had said he'd go 100 to 110 pitches max tonight. He's at 99. And the last 4 innings, he's pitched just super to get to this point.
Here's Brian Roberts fouling off the first pitch fastball. Strike 1. Roberts doubled in the 3rd. What else? He has 56 doubles for the year.
It's true.
His 1 for 3. 100 pitches on the night for Wade right now. Upstairs, it's 1-1. Great catch here by Upton to start the inning on Fiorentino's fly ball. Asturias grounded out. Now 1-1 to Roberts. And that's a strike. It's 1-2.
How about 94 on the outside corner at the knees? Excellent pitch.
The 1-2. Ooh, he almost picked up the strike zone. A little wide. Came close to catching it. 2-2 now.
Yeah, he did. Zahn sitting way outside. Roberts never sure on that outside corner.
And Davis trying to shoot that outside part of the plate again, and it's a full count now.
Yeah, he tried to double up on it. It did go around the plate. That's the right call. Just barely, just a couple inches out there.
3-2. Foul back. Fastball. We'll see another 3-2 pitch.
That was too close for comfort right there for Roberts. So he said, I better foul this one off. He's getting closer to that outside corner.
Again, and a bouncer by the mound, charged by Zobrist, and is throw to first in time. 1-2-3. That's 11 straight retired by Davis. Rays lead 2-1. Time for the 7th inning stretch. Brought to you by Autoway Toyota. In the bottom of the 7th inning, Gabe Gross will lead off with the Rays holding a 2-1 lead. Well, Wade Davis got out of a couple of spots early and has been very, very good the rest of the way. Here's Gross 0 for 2 tonight against Guthrie. Pitch is too high. Guthrie now with 100 pitches. 1-0 the count to Gross. Brignac next, and then Upton.
I'd like to see the Rays get a couple of runs on the board. A little insurance for the job that Davis has done.
Fly ball center. Ferentino is there and makes the catch. 1 away. That'll be Reed Brignac. Well, since the 3rd inning, these two teams combined have 1 hit.
Yeah,
Ferentino had a single in the 4th. Burrell had a double in the 6th.
Yeah, both guys have really settled down and pitched well.
Now Brignac. Pitch is high. 1 ball, no strikes. One and one.
Change up right there. You know, if Reed keeps swinging that well against Baltimore, they're liable to try to trade for him.
I'll tell you, I mean, they've got to be impressed with him. He's been great against the Orioles.
Well, I mean, that's what team's talking about.
There's a liner up the right side, headed for the corner. Fair ball into the corner. Extra bases for Brignac. He's hitting second. Gonna make the turn and go for 3. Relay throw. Not in time. A triple for Reed Brignac. Brignac triples into the right field corner as he continues to punish Baltimore pitching.
You know, I wasn't really kidding about that either, because teams do talk about that. This ball just ran and cut across the plate. He was trying to go outside, and Reed was all over it. And he's looking 3 right out of the box, even though Nick Markakis is one of the better right fielders in the game. Reed saw where Markakis was, and he did that move really on his own. And the right move with 1 out.
Second triple of the year for Brignac. And now Upton shoots one deep into left center field. That ball is caught out there by Scott on the track. The tag by Brignac, he scores, and the Rays pick up their 3rd run of the night. And boy, for the 2nd straight time, Upton really hit that ball hard.
Yeah, the last 3 at bats, and just like you said, he's all over Guthrie. He's seen him over 20 at bats now, and he sees him well. Of course, pitches like that are going to get hit, but nonetheless, BJ got through it and executed. It's a nice catch right there by Luke Scott with a sac fly.
Carl Crawford takes a pitch inside. Carl 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. BJ driving in a run, and there's a liner down to first, caught by Aubrey to retire the side. Rays pick up a run on the triple and the fly ball through 7, 3-1 Tampa Bay. 3-1 Rays lead. We go to the 8th inning. Every Sunday, Family Fun Day presented by the St. Petersburg Times. You get a ticket, Pepsi product, and snacks starting at just $25. Come out this Sunday when the Rays take on the Yankees. And the first 10,000 kids 14 and under receive a Raymond Wind-Up Walker. Visit RaysBaseball.com to get your tickets. Russ Springer, the new Rays pitcher. Wade Davis worked 7, made 106 pitches, gave up a run on 7 hits. First pitch to Ty Wigginton is a ball. So it's Springer here in the 8th. 2-0. Wigginton has single walk and was retired in the 5th inning on a nice play at third base by Longoria and at first by Willie Ibar. There's a strike, 2-1.
Well, that worked out perfectly for Joe Madden, because it's what he said he was going to do in the pregame show. 100 to 110 pitches, and Wade Davis executed exactly what Joe had hoped. 7 solid innings. Leads with a nice lead.
Fly ball back into center, up and back for this one, and he runs it down for the first out. Well, Wade Davis, the 24-year-old right-hander, a very good outing tonight after allowing just a run through 3. He finished strong.
Yeah, he did. He retired, the last 11 men. He had good command. Early, he didn't have command. The last 4 innings, he did a nice job of making an adjustment. Good movement, good breaking stuff as usual, and just good mound presence. And Springer gets his man, and then that's it for him.
Seven. Springer at third, and now Cormier. Time for our Just for Men poll of the day, and the Rays poll leaders: Grant Balfour 18, Dan Wheeler 16, and Brian Schaus with 10. Just as middle relievers keep their teams in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men hair color.
Well, here's Lance Cormier, 52 appearances, and the reason the change is made, he's got that breaking ball, and he gets lefties out.
First pitch to Markakis is a strike. One ball, one strike. Cormier worked in last night's game. Came out of the 8th and struck out Michael Aubrey with a breaking ball. We've got 2 outs in the 9th. It's a foul ball up the right side.
Get a man there. There you go. That deserves a high five.
Yes, it does. A 1-2 count to Markakis. And a chopper toward the middle. Brainiac gloves, turns and throws, but it's not going to be in time. Markakis has a base hit.
Reed showing good range. Really didn't have a chance. Nick runs well enough, especially from the left side as a hitter. A lot of strides to go right there. Good reach. No chance.
So now it's going to be Luke Scott. Scott has a run batted in with a line drive single into center in the third. The pitch is a strike at the knees. Dan Wheeler busy in the bullpen up the right field side. The Rays now shift their defense around to the right side. Longoria, the lone man on the left side.
Well, they figure now down 0-1 that Luke Scott's not going to attempt a bunt. If he fouls it off, he's down 0-2. So the Rays take the gamble. And he's a power guy.
1-1.
And he's got a chance to tie the game. He's not going to bunt anyway. If he bunts at this point in the season, if I'm Dick Tremblay, I'd say, what are you trying to get an extra point on your batting average? So Luke's not going to do that. He's had a pretty good year for him. Good power year for the O's.
It's a high fly ball back into left field. Crawford going back, feeling for the wall, and he's got it in front of the fence. Deep on the track, he hauls it in, and Luke Scott is out number 2. Back to first goes Markakis.
Yeah, he's got good power. He showed him it right there, opposite field. That's a nice job of tracking it by Carl Crawford. And you're right, Dwayne. You saw him reach for the wall a few strides before the wall. That told you that Carl knew the ball was in play. You just want to make sure that he didn't crash against the wall. Nice job right there.
So 2 outs. Markakis over at first. Jim Hickey heads to the mound. Wheeler's throwing in the bullpen, and Randy Choate's standing alongside down there. Danny Baez is up in the bullpen for Baltimore. You can place your reservation for 2010 Rays season tickets. Ensure the best seats, biggest savings, and all the great benefits by calling 888-FAN-RAYS or visiting RaysBaseball.com. Let's peek into the Rays bullpen right now. And they have Cormier out there to face Matt Wieters. Melvin Mora is due next. And behind him, Aubrey. And so Madden gives himself some options in the bullpen with the right-hander Wheeler and the left-hander Choate if it gets that far. 2 outs. Wieters, the rookie catcher, 2 for 3 tonight. He lined to second his last time. A couple of base hits.
And he's shown to be a good fastball hitter, and he looks for the fastball, as he should. All young hitters can get here because they can hit the fastball. They stay here when they learn how to hit off speed and breaking stuff. So we'll see what advice Zahn is giving right here to Lance Cormier. Lance, of course, has a good slider, good curve, and changes speeds well.
Yeah, Wieters 0 for 1 against Cormier. That was up in Baltimore, and he picked up a strikeout against Wieters. Breaking ball down and in, covered up by Zahn.
That's the right call. First pitch curveball right there, because he's shown in the times that we've seen him, he'll jump on that first fastball he sees. Not that you can't throw one, you just got to make sure you make a nice pitch down and away with it where you can't get it in the air. Comes a slider.
And he hits it on the ground foul up the right side.
Got our man there working. More souvenirs. Evan's son right there. No, I guess not. Not yet. Not yet. I'm kidding. Saw some girls earlier that wanted to marry him.
Yep,
2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
Right?
To figure that one out, get a little crowded. 1-1. And a foul ball.
There's the curve right there. So he starts Wieters out. And that's exactly what Zahn talked about. Evan getting ready for another ground ball, perhaps. There they are. There is 3 of them. I thought so. They're locked in. Well, they're going to see Evan lead off the bottom of the 8th. But the sequence is a good one so far. A couple of curves and a slider called by Zahn. Count 1 and 2.
Cormier ahead in the count, 1 and 2, and a roller to the right side. Picked up there by Zobrist, and the toss to first to retire the side. No runs, a hit, 1 left. Bottom of the 8th coming, 3-1 Rays. In the closing days of the season.
The new hats that are being promoted. That isn't right. One of the teammates there messing with JP because he's shut down for the year.
Rays have a 3-1 lead. We have an opportunity to check in with Todd Callis. Todd, are you there?
Hi, Dwayne.
Hi. Nice to see you.
Hey, guess what? The Rays postseason special is coming up right after the season in October. It's going to feature a sit-down with yourself and Joe Madden, and also Rays fans can get involved. Here's how. They can email us their favorite moment from the season at ask.therays@fox.com. They can also go to sunsportstv.com or fsfloridatv.com. Click on the Ask the Rays button. And on the Rays page, they can tell us what their favorite moment was. Then we'll reveal the top 10 moments from the 2009 season. So that'll all be coming up in our Rays postseason special in October, guys.
We have feverishly been working on that today, and we will continue to do that tomorrow. Meanwhile, the new pitchers, Dennis Sarfate, fastball, Evan Longoria, and that's a strike.
18th game for Sarfate. Already a little high. Too many walks, 12 and 19 innings. That won't get it done.
It's fouled out of play, and that's been his history. A very good arm, but control an issue. Evan, then Ben Zobrist and Willie Ibar due up. Foul ball. right off the mask of Wieters.
By the way, that was a great sequence of game calling and execution by Lance Cormier, game calling by Greg Zahn, all breaking balls to get Wieters last inning. Obviously, Zahn, played with Wieters, so he definitely knows him. Of course, the scouting reports will tell you that, but I know he went out there and said, hey, no fastballs to this guy. He's a dead fastball hitter, young guy. He looked to tie the game up. He's going to get all breaking balls, and that's why Lance was in there anyway, because he could throw the breaking balls to lefties, and that's what he did.
Up and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That would be an effective pitch if you tried to do that, but he was trying to go down and away, so he missed by about 17 inches.
And a swing and a miss on the fastball. Trapate picks up the strikeout for the first out of the 8th.
Try to go down and away again. This ball just up over the plate, but up a little bit. Good velocity on it.
Here's Ben Zobrist. And he throws him a breaking ball for a first pitch strike. One ball, 1 strike. Ben tonight doubled in a run in the first and scored. Fouls the fastball back, taking the count to 1-2.
Yeah, he had a good pitch to hit, and he jumped on it. Just missed it.
And he takes strike 3. Sarfate with his second consecutive strikeout. He got him with a fastball that time.
Now, Ben had such a good swing on the pitch before. I don't think he thought he'd get one right there. And he knew it. I think he thought he might get another breaking ball after that good swing on the fastball. The pitch before.
Here's Willie Ibar. Willie's 2 for 3 tonight. The first pitch is a fastball in for a strike. One ball, 1 strike. Rays scored a couple runs in the first. Baltimore scored a run in the third, and the Rays picked up another run in the 7th inning.
Boy, I look at the Orioles record, 60-96 coming in. You're 40.5 games out of first place. I mean, that cannot be acceptable. I know it's the American League East, it's tough, but boy, you gotta. I thought the Orioles were going to be a lot better this year than that. Dave Tremblay can't be feeling good about the situation, and I know he's a good teacher. He's been a long time minor league guy before he got to the big leagues, got a chance to take over this job. But boy, what you don't want if you're Dave Tremblay is 100 losses.
Ibar up in the count, 3-1. Ground ball headed toward the middle, and just out of the reach of Roberts, who tried to backhand it. Ibar's headed for second, and he is going to run into an out there. Histor is putting the tag on him. So that's a base hit, and he is out trying to stretch it into 2. We go to the 9th. It's 3-1 Tampa Bay. Let's take a look at the Buick Pontiac GMC dealers road ahead. James Shields will get the start tomorrow for the Rays against David Hernandez. We'll be with you on Fox Sports Florida in high definition. Our coverage begins at 6:30. Dan Wheeler goes to the mound for the Rays here in the 9th, making his 68th appearance, and he's on to face Melvin Mora, Baltimore third baseman.
Now that's a good bottom number there. How about that 199 batting average against?
1 strike the count to Mora. The Rays have Davis for 7, Springer a third, Cormier for 2/3. And a line shot. That's a fair ball. Kicks against the sidewall, and Mora is going to stop at first with a single. So Mora lines a base hit down the left field side. And now Madden comes out. That's going to be it with the lefty and the righty in the bullpen. But Choate is going to get the call with the left-hander Aubrey due up. That ball just fair up the line. We'll be back in a moment. Sun Sports brought to you by your Select 7 Buick Pontiac GMC dealers, by Amscott. You're okay with us. And by Tobacco Free Florida. Tobacco Free Florida wants you to be tobacco free. Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com for more information. Randy Choate on now to face the left-handed hitting first baseman Michael Aubrey. And the pitch is in there for a strike. 59th appearance for Choate. Wave and a miss. 0-2. Slider from Choate.
Might as well double up on that one with that swing. Even if he's looking for it, you make that same pitch, you'll get him.
Strike 3. That one started in the direction of the hitter and then caught the plate, froze him.
Yeah, he doubled up on it all right. He tried to get it down and away. Nonetheless, it still hit the corner. Take a look at the overhead shot. Sees on sitting away. The ball bites the inside corner.
Ferrantino is due, but Montañez is going to pinch hit for him. And here comes Madden. He has Balfour out there in the bullpen. So Balfour will get the call. We'll be back in a moment. first with one out. Grant Balfour will get the call. He is the 6th Rays pitcher of the night.
How about his appearances? 72 for Grant. He's been a workhorse as well. Still averaging a strikeout an inning.
So he'll face Martinez, who started the game last night in left field, had a base hit his first time up. So he hits for Birantino. And a strike. Strikes him with a fastball.
Big swing right there. Good pitch by Grant, outside corner.
That's a little wide. 1-1. Balls and a strike. Brian Schaus is up in the Rays bullpen, up the right field line. Wave and a miss. He went after the fastball. Catch up 2-2.
Yeah, his best fastball yet. 94, but up right above the swing. You see the young man swing right underneath it.
And a swing and a miss. He's out on strikes. 2 gone here in the ninth.
Grant just turned it on right there. He saw 94. This time 96. The same swing by Martinez right underneath it.
Two outs with a runner still at first, and here's Cesar Astures batting left-handed. And a fly ball into center. Upton is there, and the Rays win it. It's a final. The Rays take game 2 of the series, 3-1. They win their 81st game of the year, and we'll be back with the totals in a moment.